This episode was filmed at the 13 Trees Coffee House in New Braunfels. To see upcoming events at the 13 Trees, scan the QR code below. If your business would like to be featured on the HCMG podcast, feel free to reach us at hillcountrymusician@gmail.com. We feature the songs and stories of local musicians every week. Thanks for watching and supporting local live music.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Hill Country Musicians Guild podcast, or HCMG, if you guys like shorthand. Sorry for our absence. We've been really busy. We've been working on converting a property into a venue. We've been working on events and festivals. We've been dodging the law. No, I'm just kidding about that last one. But at any rate, it has been a very busy fall, which is something I did not expect when we first started this off. I thought that it would be a really busy summer and that things would dissipate as the temperature got colder. Well, newsflash, it did not get colder, and on top of that, it is still very busy out there. So I am greeted today in our quaint little studio at 13 Trees Coffee with Noah Gray. He is a wonderful musician. He's been a friend of the Guild. We are also doing something a little bit unique today. As you can see, my hands are free and there's no lapel on me. So what you're hearing is the show microphone right over here. So we are going to do our best to project, be eloquent with our words, and make it so that you have a wonderful time listening to both of us. So without further ado, we are going to get Noah set up for his first song.
There's a song called Take My Hand. Stare right at me, said it's strange, I can tell by your eyes. It's like something has changed, and simple words and certain lights, it reminds me that somehow it's not my life. I was learning, just not right. I grew up from chaos, I'm a snuffed out light. And I was different, not the same. I searched for my whole life, felt love was insane. And I'm still waiting on the princess they promised, back when they told me all love's not dishonest. And I'm still waiting on a love that won't leave me, something from tall tales and shows from the TV. And please just take my hand, darling, please just take my hand. Months have passed now, maybe years. I'm hoping and praying what love really is, but we're all grown now, we ain't kids, both molded by people who treat us like shit. Take my hand now, follow me, I'll finally find somewhere we can be free. Darling, please just take my hand. Darling, please just take my hand. She's still waiting on the love from the novels, the one on the white horse who solves all the problems. And she's still waiting on love to come save her, show her it's safe and no need to be scared. And please just take my hand, darling, please just take my hand. Builds resentment, doesn't trust, she fights and she pulls as he punches and tugs. And they're all grown now, they made up, but they're crying as they have the words from it up. princess they promised. Down when they told me all love's not dishonest. And I'm still waiting on love to come save me. One that is safe and not driving me crazy. And please just take my hand. Builds resentment, doesn't trust. She's fighting and flinching as he pulls and he tugs. And both are cold now. They don't fight, they hold back their words as they cry every night. And I'm just waiting on love that got promised. Door halls of heartbreaks and all of y'all's traumas. And I'm still waiting on the same thing I promised. She prayed and she prayed for a man that is honest. And please just take my hand. Darling, please just take my hand. Love is fickle, so is lust. It's a moment of weakness and your family blows up like latchkey toddlers. All of us, we're just staring at phones, hoping somewhere shows up. So love to wait on the princess he promised. I like that she shows me all love's not dishonest. And she's just going and I know she won't leave me. She's one from the tall tales and shows from the TV. And please just take my hand. Darling, please just take my hand. Darling, please just take my hand.
Very good. Lovely.
Appreciate it.
So, yeah, that's a lovely song. It's got a lot of depth to it. It's very open. A lot of times when I write, if I'm writing about something that is sensitive or personal, I use ambiguous terms. But it feels like you're like, no, I'm just going to tell the story.
Absolutely.
And just, I mean, without, I mean, obviously, divulging every sad moment of life, just tell me about yourself and also just how you became a musician, how it led to where you are today.
So, I mean, my name is Noah Gray, right? I'm a firefighter, dad of 3, all of those things, but I am a musician by passion.
Mm-hmm.
I've just found this passion a couple years ago. So what brings me to that place is this is catharsis for me. I started on the front porch. I essentially just started playing some things that I liked from some of the people that I liked on music, on Spotify, on things like that, and it gave me the outlet so that I could give that full raw story in songwriting.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that you saw that it was a full story, and that the names aren't said, but it's the life that you live as you're going through life. So you can make it ambiguous, or you can really get into like the depth of it. And I do like to get into the depth of it. I've got a couple. There's different things that I write about where it's kind of deep, it's kind of dark, and some people, you have to find the people that connect with it, and especially in a songwriting process.
I mean, that's the beauty about all of this, is that you will find your audience, especially in today's day and age. And if you're talking, and if you're as open as you are, you're going to get people that are going to be like, I feel that as well. And what's interesting is that people have maybe misconstrued my own lyrics that have been either absurdist, with no meaning, or they have been or they were so ambiguous that there was no possible way that they could know what I'm talking about. But they would come up and be like, "That song, meant so much to me. Essentially, my music's almost like a Rorschach painting.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm glad that you saw something out of it, but I just sneezed on a piece of paper.
Right. Absolutely. So, art is the eye of the beholder, as they say.
Mm-hmm.
So, they, you can go and watch and look at Picasso and all. My motto in life and my motto during this artistic adventure that I've had is Picasso paints and gives his masterpieces, but it's all about the brushstrokes. And when you're saying that, you have the absurdist lyrics, you have the different things that you take, and you're like, it hits hard for some people, but other people find it absurdist, and you have to find those people that really connect with your Rorschach painting, that you say.
Yeah.
A Rorschach painting can be a masterpiece, absolutely. I think that once it hits the wall, you got to find what sticks, like a noodle.
Yeah. Well, talk about just the songwriting process for you. Are you a lyrics first person? Are you more chord based? What would you say is the best way you go about it?
So songwriting process, I am chord based. I will say I am absolutely, like we've talked about in some senses, like I'm not a music theory person. I was very G, D, E, C. And I have the 7 because I do cowboy chords. I learned how to do, you got to stick those pinkies down too, like that. So as I've tried to write songs, I've started with very simple G, D, E, C. My first song was called Float by my daughters. Not by my daughters, but for my daughters. I took a song that I really loved, just kind of made my own words for it, and as that I created a story of, how I want them to float in life, but I also want them to float as they do things. Like they don't need to be so serious. They know, these sort of different things. I have a lot of songs about my daughters.
Spirit of joy.
Spirit of joy, absolutely. Yeah. And it's great because it also makes a lot of hill country people, they're like, oh, I love floating. They love that idea. So it meshes well. It's got that little something that everybody likes, and it's also something that's personal to me. And
what was the name of that first song that you just played?
That was called Take My Hand.
Take My Hand.
Yeah, absolutely. So Take My Hand. I was actually kind of influenced by some of the newer country. I did like some of the stuff that was coming out, the Sam Barbers, all of those. And so I was looking into the chord progressions that they did, and they made these chord progressions. They just keyed it up to different places. They just ran the same chord progressions, but they keyed it to different places. And so as I was playing with that, I had one that was real high up there, but I brought it up to my natural singing level, and I was like, okay, I can play with this. And from that point, I was able to start writing my lyrics and doing that. So as far as the process, I started with that chorus, that very powerful. I've been waiting on a princess they promised to show me that love's not dishonest. That's a very powerful, something that's I feel.
I agree.
Yeah.
And then when it comes to each independent song, do you treat it like an opportunity to either teach yourself something new or to plant in something musical that you have picked up recently or something like
Absolutely. that? Absolutely. That's a very key thing. So sometimes I'll find a new, I wrote a new one where just that little walk down. And
That's right.
And so as I walked down, I was like, okay. And then I felt a song kind of coming on at that point. So I was able to mix what I felt was like a Bob Dylan sound with this new progression that I found, and I was able to write. So it's fly bluebirds fly out, but something like that. So, and you have to, like Paul McCartney says, you have to be able to look like a dummy or to look like somebody who doesn't know what they're doing for a little bit.
The one thing, like you bring up Paul McCartney and John Lennon, both of them were very musically curious.
Absolutely.
So they would go into the studio, or they were literally competing against each other, and the importance was like, oh, you wrote that, ooh, that sounded really good. I'm going to try to one-up it. Whether it was bringing in a new type of rhythm playing, or a new key, or just a weird chord planted in there, or some sort of recording technique. Each one of it was just this one-up with each other, and the beneficiaries of it was us.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, definitely. Just every new song, I encourage everyone to just be like, okay, you may have the foundation of the song, patent everything down. Look at it in a bird's eye view and say, I've learned something new, can I place it in there almost as if like a chef was dropping one single bay leaf into a stew or something like that, just to add some slight change to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean that the end goal, it's entertainment for our own sake.
Right.
Because if you're going to play the same song, over and over, let's say you got signed, and then you had to go to every single city. Hello, Phoenix, again. And you're having to play that. The one thing that is the only entertaining thing about Phoenix is playing your own song.
Right. You're like, here's the 4 songs I know. This is what I got. Right.
That's really cool.
I like what you said about the dropping new things that you learned in there.
Mm-hmm.
So even on the most basic of stuff, right?
Yes.
So from songwriters from the beginning, right? You can have the G, D, E, C, but even Wagon Wheel, second part that he drops in there is a third, that change, G to D to C. And that's the second part of it. So you were able to shorten that, but you have to hold that C for that second, where that D should be, right? So that is a new thing that you can learn as far as chord changes. That's even in the most basic of songs that you can kind of add into your songwriting process.
Man, someone either really hates what we hear saying, or
that's my boys. I got
I respect to them.
No.
One thing that I started when I was a very young guitarist, I knew that I needed to build up hand strength and then familiarity with the instrument. But I was coming into guitar with already music education prepared from playing the clarinet for years.
Right.
And so, and the clarinet is like 2% joy, 80% drills, and then 18% performance.
Okay.
And so, when I came in to the guitar, the first thing that I really forced myself to do was just jump between G and D as fast as I could. And I'd almost make songs out of it, just G to D, G to D, G to D, G
right.
to D. Because that is one of the most, I mean, there are the cowboy chord ways of switching, but I mean like actual complete formal G to absolute complete formal D.
Now I don't know if this is a question that will kind of break it up, but do you use your index finger for a second, or do you use your middle finger?
In relation to which chord? G to G?
So your G is like this?
Yes.
Versus like this?
For me, it just depends upon the song.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know, because some people, they do the Hendrix grip. Like, you know what I mean? And I haven't gotten to that point where I can Hendrix it, or I can do those things.
And keep in mind, there's so many variations of G or C. With G, for instance, you can do the bar G, which is right up, what is it, 2 frets up or something like that.
I'm just now learning that. I'm just getting into it. Like, I'm just starting to learn lead. I'm starting to learn the 5 positions. And it's great. I love it. I mean, a lot of your music videos that you put out, as far as like the wheel of keys and the things like that, it's really starting to kind of, so I can start, that kind of thing. So it's been nice, because now I can have people who are more beginner. They can go G, D, E, C, and I can sit there and play along.
And play along with them, exactly. Give them tasteful fills.
Yeah.
That's great. Another great thing, when I was early on as well, hand care. That was actually, it's something that a lot of musicians ignore. They're like, I'm fine, but after an extended period of play, I would force myself to like put my hands in hot water and then switch to cold water and just go back and forth.
Really?
Because I wanted the pores to open up and close, Kind of like, I know a lot of people do that just in general with their body. They'll jump.
I might need to. I'm getting a little carpal tunnel in between the joints.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
And it was just, I mean, there's so many other exercises, like, putting your hands in rice and just squeezing that.
Okay.
Just because I know that eventually, outside of those chords that are comfortable, like the G's, the C's, and the D's, eventually I'm going to play something that's really high up on the neck, where the frets are a lot closer, the action's a lot higher, and it just hurts.
Right.
And the only way through it is through it.
All right.
And so that is, that's one of those things that I'm glad that I did early, and I think it was just mainly from previous instrument training.
Right.
I guess it's almost like learning a second language, or like a third language, because when you've got your first and second language down, the third language is probably a lot easier than the first one.
Yeah, you kind of got the idea of like different concepts. And music is, I guess, in the same way. As I'm trying to transition into piano, And
Really?
it's those kind. Yeah, I've started to play piano, get different like major chords and
Mm-hmm.
things like that, so I can start playing around with it. That's like I was actually watching like the Origins Human of Mankind today, and it was talking about how music. So while communication is through writing is our best form of expressing thoughts, music is our best form of expressing emotions, like in that sense. So, you know, Beethoven's Fifth, which, I mean, I know you were talking about the Beatles and Paul McCartney. Did
Yeah.
you know that this was like...
Yep.
That's
That was from...
Yeah. It's all connected in this great like musical language.
That's
So,
right.
and it's fantastic. But
And what would you say are your, you mentioned that you're influenced by modern country, but overall, like your influences?
my influences are definitely like I started with the Ed Sheeran's, and Ed Sheeran, especially whenever he had like the court case when he was talking about everything's GDC, you know, that kind of not inspired me, but I have found my own route in that sense of like where I can kind of get my own chord progression that may not be in the same thing as what a guitar tabs has or something like that, but I can hear that it sounds semi-correct as long as I can fix my voice to it. And so people are like, okay, I like that version, and that's what I've become as like the Noah Gray version, I guess. But you know, they're like, okay, it sounds a little deep and dark and like whatever. But so which that's where I found my inspiration in the people who made music very simple and made music very like accessible. I did listen to a lot of Noah Kahan, the kind of campfire guys. Where they've done very simple stuff, but they've elevated it in such a way that people can play a lot of it. So Zach Bryan, Sam Barber, a lot of those country songs are very kind of simple cowboy chords. But then again, I do love the Toby Keith. I love the Randy Travis. All of those songs that my mom used to put on when we had to clean the house. You know, but
It's interesting, like when it comes to just the genres. It's inside of country music comes one of the most elaborate and difficult picking simulations that we have. Chicken picking. The I can't do it. But I mean, you know, Brad Paisley, a lot of these other musicians have patented it and gotten it down. And it has a very distinctive country sound, but it is very difficult to play. And it's one of those things that when you notice it, when you hear it, you're like, oh my goodness. I almost wish that it could be incorporated into different genres, and I'm sure people have tried.
right.
But that is, it's really cool. Have you seen any of these performers live, any of your influences?
I wish, man. I mean, so I have seen a couple people live. I saw Benson Boone with my daughter.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a great performance. I took a lot from that as far as like what performance should be for.
Was it a pretty large concert?
Huge. It was a big concert over in San Antonio area for like one of the Hemisphere. Parks.
Yeah. I've set up in the past there.
It's a great time. Pearl Markets, all of that area is a great spot, especially for music. But he was the big. I think it was Chris Stapleton, Benson Boone, and some of those. And it was before Benson Boone blew up. So it was kind of weird because Chris Stapleton's headlining and Benson Boone was there, and everyone's got the Benson Boone shirts, and he was already at that point kind of moving up. But this Chris Stapleton was an amazing artist. Benson Boone was out there doing backflips and things like that on the stage. And so it really was like more of a performance. It was like you kind of, half of the job of being a musical artist is keeping the people in front of you entertained in some way. Like I can't juggle fire, but I mean, sometimes you might need to throw in a couple country songs that everybody knows. You know?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, in our industry, especially when it comes to the amateur musician, the ones that are trying to build a name for themselves, the cover brings the tip. The original doesn't.
Absolutely.
It sucks, but it's just the truth that we have to deal with. When it comes to Benson Boone, like he blew up, and yeah, the athletics, the being able to flip are really cool and stuff like that. I hope that, I mean, like let's put it like if we were to be optimistic, how many years can he flip?
See,
5?
Yeah, I agree, but the songwriting's good as well. I mean, obviously, I get you. It makes it easy, it makes it easy. So like I just simplify the chords and then I can play it. Now my daughter loves it. I have spoken with a piano player recently who teaches piano over in like a local music shop.
Okay.
And he says, Imagine Dragons, Benson Boone, all those things, they're very simplified so that people can hear it and they can, they love it. They can understand the changes. It doesn't take a key change. People don't have to understand that to understand Imagine Dragons. They're like, no, that's an air horn and that's like whatever.
It's engineered, almost like fast food,
right?
To be as palatable and acceptable to the masses. And I mean, there are some songs where that is okay. Man, you do have a lot of your friends out there.
Yeah, they're just going down, I guess.
Yeah. There must be a good kegger going on. Woo!
Y'all better chill out.
But there are a couple of instances where we're just like as a society, can we do better? I don't know. It feels like just the educational level. Like if you were to read the lyrics, it's like, man, at one point, number one hit songs, there actually was a little bit of lyricism to it, and now it's getting simplified to the point where it's like second grade reading. I
agree with you. I can say that I do think that the musical literacy of the generation coming forward is not as well versed, but now that has to be based upon the fact that music has moved out of the house. Like it takes multiple grandparents to go forward that they play piano on Christmas, in those sense. Like I don't think that the newer age will get together around the piano and sing, Yuletide cheers or things along that nature, and then that'll move forward into like a little patriotic song for 4th of July. Yeah. Things that can be all year. Now that has moved out of the house now with the more electronic ways we consume music. It's true. The Spotify. And, 100 years ago, you had to have someone who played piano to have music in your house. In a strange way, I mean, we're really sawing off the tree branch that we're sitting on, because I myself am trying to keep alive and show the importance of the live performance. Yeah. But everyone at the same time wants to record their stuff, distribute it for free, and then have it borrowed and used for AI. And I don't know. I think it's coming to a point where people are going to be like, the only way that I can actually maintain a sense of community in my town is if I redact everything online and just play out every night or something like that. Whether that's going to work or not, not sure. Now, that's part of my songwriting process. I will say that. Like if I take my hand, or I had a song, Downtown Lights, and things like that, where I write it, and I have a songwriting process, and then I take that out and about. And if the shortened song, which hasn't been super elaborated on, or hasn't added those new things that we're talking about, the new little songwriting things that I can add into and make a song better, that if it's not well received at that point, or people don't really notice it or things like that, I can kind of go, okay, that's not, it's not a great song. Not even that, because everything is a good song, because it's all about your experiences, but it may not be relatable, or it may not be, if something's too slow, like at a certain bar, you have to be able to read the room and see what songs kind of feel. Well, yeah, there's some truth to that. I would say when I first started doing serious writing on the guitar, for some reason, everything was capo 4th fret for me. And so I was writing instrumentals, some sing-alongs, or not sing-alongs, but some actual lyrical songs. And I remember calling in my brother, because I had come up with what I thought was a great idea. I was like, hey, I want you to play this. And he said, didn't you play this for me already? And I went, oh, it's so close to this other chord system that I used, and it was also in capo 4th. Right. Similar tempo, that he could be forgiven that I had already played it for him. Yeah. And so instantly then I was like, okay, I need to take the capo off and just try to expand from that, because if you're playing that same song to a different person every single time, you don't have this problem. Right. Sometimes your audience repeats itself, and you're like, what's new? Right, and that's how it should be. I mean, you should have people come out to see you, and you should. I guess what I try to do is preview a song, right? You're
Right.
previewing that song out and about in the crowd, and then at that point, if they want to find it, they can find it. They're going to take the time out of their day to find. If they do want to hear you, or they do that they would have to go and find you online, or get a card from you, or talk to you after the show. Those people who are repeat customers, as they say, those people do want to hear new stuff. They do want to hear you do a cover of something different, like, you know, don't want to do the same old wagon wheel. You want to you want to change it up. You want to say, hey, like, you know, this is a little Goo Goo Dolls, or this is a little My Chemical Romance that I kind of changed to my system. And I will say system in a way of, like, you can have your own system, and you can have, like I said, you can have your own chord progressions, and then it might not be your chord progressions, but that's where you feel the most comfortable.
You put in your own artistic flair.
Absolutely. And then if you have to just kind of like hear something, like I said with the cowboy chords, you know, most things are like a straight, pure C. But if I'm having to pull a C7 like this, I can, you know, add, or I can take a finger off, and then that's a higher C7. But I don't know exactly how it would be, but from what I know, it sounds a little more tingy than like this, where it's a little lower on them. And now that's all just feel and just playing around the guitar from the front porch of knowing like what that sounds like versus what that sounds like. And it takes a very artistic different, but you have to work on different things at different parts.
Well, we're talking here about voicings, which is really, really important. But before we get to voicings, let's hear another song, if that's all right with you. Let's get you set up for that.
Okay.
I thought that I had covered all this pain, but it's finally back again. It was something in those eyes that broke my heart. And I thought that I could never just see what's right in front of me. And I hope that you can find your way back to me. And I hope that you're not faking. It's my life that's yours for taking. And I hope that you treat it better than everyone else. And now I just lie gently, 'cause these dreams I had of a family are these dreams I found have finally been taken from me. And new people and new families, and my face will stay so empty. And I hope that I can find a place that I belong. And it's something in those eyes that prove me wrong. And I hope that you're not faking. It's my life that's yours for taking. And I hope that you treat it better than everyone else. And now I just lie gently, 'cause these dreams I had of a family are these ones I found are dreams that I know won't stay. And you know that I could love you oh so utterly, completely. And I'll treat you just like the queen that I know that you are. And you shouldn't be stuck in the dark just 'cause you're a star. But I love to find you just right where you are. And they say that love will hurt you on the ground or when you're falling. I just hope that you can be the one to not hurt me at all. And know that it It's so fake now, and you say how I am so proud of this smile I used to keep the darkness hidden from my face. 'Cause I know what God can give, He takes away. So I live through each damn day now, and I love you till I'm in the ground. I just hope that you can promise and do the same. So I hope that you're not faking. It's my life that's yours for taking. I just hope that you treat it better than everyone else. So just kiss me so damn slowly, if that body's oh so holy. If it was my church, I'd be there like every damn day. But I know what God can give, He takes away. So I pray, God, just don't let thoughts get in my way.
Before we did that song, we were talking about voicings on the guitar, and you were showing how you have different ways of playing C. Have you found an instance in your songwriting where it's like, I know I could play the full C major or this full way, but man, when I just leave one finger off and keep it open, it's like I don't even know the name of this chord, it just works.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, if you want, so I learned chords and new chords through learning different songs, right?
Yeah.
So I have this book at my house, so it's like 410 songs that are just the songs I've been, hearting as I go through and play them. So, one of them, instead of this full C, they play just the C without the index finger. Because that's, so, and that is I feel like it's, when you're saying melodic, it's much more melodic C. Where it has a more of that
melancholy feel, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. So versus has that spring to it, and I love how you're saying like tings and spring to it, because it has like those different tones and emotions in some sense, but you've got the onomatopoeias to it, right? You've got like the melancholy or the spring to it. And even when I bought this guitar, I was like, it's got the deepness of like I could play that on this guitar and it felt good. So that's kind of why I like this guitar. And you're saying about the voicings, you absolutely do find the voicings. Like you can, the melodic C or the cowboy chord C. I don't know,
I know, and what's really interesting is when you're especially when you get more comfortable with bar chords and you start playing up the scale and you're like, wow, that chord sounds really good. And then you'll be like, wait a second. This is a chord that I've been playing all the time down here. Like for instance, there's another C chord that is a bar. Like, how your A chord is the 3 at the top right there.
Right.
Well, I mean, just think about it in the alphabet. A, 2 spaces up, B, 2 spaces up, C.
Right.
So the shape stays the same, the letter changes, and you just need to add the bar to compensate for the rest of the notes there. And it's cool because you'll play that and you'll be like, there isn't that much of a tonal difference between bar C and open C. Maybe you'll get more resonance right there. But the reason why it's good to learn those is because of the context of the chords that follow it.
Right.
Because sometimes you'll have a chord that is going to be just right next to it in shape, which proceeds to the next chord, to the next chord.
Absolutely.
And then it's like, man, it's great that I learned that so I don't have to be up here and then way up here.
Right. Absolutely.
A funny example of that would be like, this is a kind of a weird example. Eddie Van Halen, when he was writing his solos, he wrote them diced up. So he would be like, this bit sounds like this, or this bit sounds really good here, and so he would have different pieces, and he'd form them together to have the one big solo.
Man, my electric guitar player is a Van Halen freak.
Van Halen freak?
Yeah, he loves it. So
well, this is the funny bit, though, is that Van Halen would have to teach himself the solo again once the solo was assembled the way that he wanted to on the track. So then afterwards he'd be like, how do I play this live? Okay. Because there were parts of it that were really up here, and then all of a sudden there's a part that's way down here. Then there's a part that's really up here. It wasn't like he was switching between the two. He was just like, contextually, right here, this sounds right.
Right.
And then this part of the solo sounds really good here. And you'd almost treat it in like sections of, 4 or something like that. And then at the very end of it, you're like, that's why you'll see him playing, and there's a bit up here, and then all of a sudden there's a part down here. It's just the way that he put together his solos.
Huh, I like that.
I know, it's a very interesting way to approach songwriting, but I mean, honestly, he was just an absolute magician on guitar.
Yeah, no, I will say, I mean, I shout out to, Dylan Brown, like he's my electric guitar player for the Snow White band that we have, and that man shreds. He loves Dawkins, Van Halen, all of those good things, so he's just like, and I'm over here like, I know GDEC, like, what do you want from me?
Tell us about this band. How did it form, and how long has it been going?
So Snow White is the band. We do perform out and about. We've been playing a couple times, like Poorhouse, the Villas. It started as the duo between me and Dylan Brown. We met at an open mic at Poorhouse. We just had, the story of us meeting was this long and interesting musical story of us like going to the river at 2 o'clock in the morning, just kind of having like this experience where we kind of melded together. And he was like, well, I also play music, and sure enough, he was a shredder. Like he sat by himself and playing the playing the guitar solos like that, and sure enough, I was kind of just the feel rhythm guy. So as we worked, like he can kind of catch my keys, I can get the songwriting process together, and he follows that. Now we do have drummers that kind of rotate.
Okay. It's always the drummer.
It's always the drummer that rotates. I have to ask every single person, do you play drums when I meet them, just so I can kind of get them on the thing.
Yeah, I tried to start a band several times, and like you said, it's always the drummer, either practice 1 or practice 2, going, Peggy and I have decided to tie the knot, you're going to have to find yourself another drummer.
Yeah, right.
Who's Peggy?
I understand, man. Yeah, like it is hard to find a drummer. Now there are good drummers out and about.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, I will say my daughter does play a mean triangle, so I'm trying to get her.
Triangle solo. Ding, bing, 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 bing.
I mean, I hype her up every time she does it.
And you said that you play harmonica as well, right?
So yes, piano, harmonica. I just got the little neck piece, so I've been getting my Bob Dylan, my blowing in the wind and all that kind of stuff together, so I can make those harmonica solos and feel.
What has that experience been like? It's probably been like a brand new, not out of body, but a brand new experience for you.
Absolutely. I mean, like it started just like you said, like with Paul. Oh my gosh.
You're fine.
Okay, yeah. It started as a brand new experience. Like my daughter just had the little harmonica that was like this little red play harmonica. I was like, okay, I'm playing guitar. Like, let me see what I can do. And just kind of playing on it, and I kind of got the feel for it. Did a little Home on the Range, did something along those lines, and then I was like, okay, well, what's the next step? I met some of these guys from over at Screaming Goat in the Hill Country, and he wails on the harmonica. I saw him like doing all that stuff with their they got the microphone right up to it, and I was like, okay, that's some show harmonica stuff. I like that. So I took that home, figured out that I need a harmonica in every key. And I was like, oh no, so I had to get a harmonica in every key, and then I had to get the little brace, because I was having somebody like hold it up to me and be like, all right, we gotta do that. But it didn't do
Hold still.
Please, like I'm trying to do a solo. So it's been new. I've been watching a lot of, American Symphony, John Baptiste, a huge influence now. Like I love watching those YouTube videos when they're like playing the drums on the first time I've ever heard a track, right? And I like that. Like I like the idea of being able to improv on stuff and being able to kind of feel it out. Now, if you told me play some of the songs I play out on stage exactly how they play it whenever Tyler Childers wrote it, or I wouldn't be able to. Like I can't do the intros, and like I've got what the chord structures are down, and I've got that, and I just make it my own. So.
One of the interesting things about playing in a band, when you do have the opportunity to do it, it's not really quantifiable, you can't really measure it, but when you have that kind of energy of feeding off of another person's excitement and passion towards their instrument, you start playing in a style and a passion and an energy that you're like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
And that's what's so cool about the live performance is that everyone is elevated, especially when they're playing together.
Absolutely.
And it's such a unique experience that you just don't get as a solo artist.
I mean, I've tried as much as I can. Like, I could do the little kick drum on the foot, and like it, but you really do. You have to be able to look at someone else and kind of. Now I'm a guy who closes my eyes when I'm trying to sing and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
same here.
it's something that's different. You have to look up. You have to watch the electric guitar player so that he can watch your keys and he can watch your voice as you're trying to change. And it's created this group experience that I have never experienced before. Like I have really, I mean, jamming is new. I can count on both hands the time I've jammed with somebody. I can count, I'm an early turn. I got 3 kids, so I got to turn in early. I don't get that little jam session at the end of open mics. So that has been something that's like brand new and beautiful, and like being able to mesh in with somebody as like part of a team. That kind of, it's something that's great and it's amazing.
Being a father, how do you manage to keep that going along with work? And you have your responsibilities, but then you have the responsibility to yourself and to your bandmates.
Yeah.
As a songwriter and a performer, what is the experience like maintaining all of those at the same time?
It's hard. I mean, you definitely gotta. You only see me here and there. I know me and you, Joe, like we only see each other in bits and pieces. But you gotta kind of mesh with it. You have to make. If music's part of your life, it has to be part of your life.
Yeah.
Like, my kids have, believe me, in the first couple of years, they told me like, "Hey, can you like stop singing? We're trying to watch a movie right now." I'm like, "Okay, Daddy's gotta. I'm trying to create a dream man now, okay?" But they start to get it. Like they start to understand. They start to see like my oldest daughter's a ballerina teacher or a ballet teacher. She's 8 years old, and she teaches 5-year-olds and 4-year-olds how to do ballet, and that has created this sense of hopefully something like that. But I feel like she may have. I don't want to be like she took it from me, I'm the best, whatever. But I like to think that she saw the hard work it took, and that she has to put the same thing towards spelling. She has to put the same thing towards ballet. She has to put all the effort, and she sees me work a lot, but she also sees me write a lot of songs, and she's like, "You're not getting paid to write songs." I'm like, "It doesn't matter."
And it already sounds like your family has inspired you in your lyrics as well. Absolutely. I mean, I've got lots of songs about them, and I've got, they definitely have inspired something that's really great, and especially my songwriting. So this is called My Little Darlings. So kind of what you're saying about the songwriting process with my family. This is a song I wrote for them. This is for my 3 daughters. You're good.
My little darlings, I hope I won't be too long. Oh, little darlings, please hear this song. I see my light in their eyes, and I see my life in their smile. Every night I have this dream of you and me, a distant memory. And I hope you see Daddy's watching. I'm chasing those dreams like I taught you, even if it's sometimes through that phone. So please just see, my darling, I will always be your darling, and you'll always be my 3 little darlings. I'll watch you dream and live it, and I'll watch you work then earn it. All of those things they said you couldn't. So little darling, don't worry, and I'll be back in a hurry. Oh, my 3 I see my life in their smile, and I see my life in their eyes, and I swear I have this dream of you and me, a distant memory. And I'll be back, it's alright. And when I'm gone, please don't fight. You better be good like I know that you are. My not so little darling, you're growing fast, oh so tall, and every day you look just like your mother. But I see me in each and every day. I see in the way you paint and how you sing at the top of your lungs. So won't you see, my darling, you'll always be my darling, my tiny three little darlings. So I see my life in their eyes, I see my smile in their life, and every night I have this dream of you and me, not those memories.
Very beautiful. Beautiful song.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Also set up as a waltz too.
There we go. A little 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
There we go.
Very good. Yeah. When it comes to actually waltzes, I always ponder: is it 3/4? Is it 3/8? Because this is getting really nerdy, but that's what I'm here for.
Right. 3/4 versus 3/8.
Because am I giving value to the eighth note or am I giving it to the quarter note? Because there is also it depends on what you treat as a half note or a quarter note. If it's 1, 2, 3, 4, then those are quarter notes right there, and
Right.
you have really long measures. Or it's 1, 2, 1, 2, meaning that each one of those tinier beats then would be.
Man, I gotta get you with my metronome that I have at my house to get you to explain that thing to me. It has all the different beats and stuff on it. Because I'm like, I don't know what this means. I've been Googling it.
Well, it's weird when it comes to tempo. For me, this isn't abusive, but it is close to being almost like PTSD. My band directors would they would have this really big metronome machine, and it just had this distinctive loud pop, 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 and it would be so loud that you could hear it outside of the classroom, even with the door closed. And there's a couple of times where he would just leave the metronome on, and he's like, I need to go answer a call. And he would go off into his office, and so we're just sitting there, bop, 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 bop. So tempo really got ingrained into my head.
That's understandable.
Have you been in a recording scenario yet where you've had to listen to a click track with headphones on?
So yeah, so that was a big step, a big stepping stone. So as I worked with the 725, right down the street, that Redemption Grace Church.
Yes.
So as I started working with them and singing with them and working with the vocal coaches, I did have the in-ears, which was
That's a different game. Right there.
It was. So I was hearing click tracks, I'm hearing, the director in my ear, and I'm hearing kind of all the different layers of it, and I kind of understood, at that point I was like, oh, okay, like this is not just like volume on, volume off.
Yeah. And when you did it, did you have one ear open, or were both ears monitored?
So, it was just kind of how I felt with the song. Like if I was real powerful and I knew the lyrics like really well, I would probably put both ears in just so I could kind of hear myself well. But if I was trying to kind of follow along with other people and kind of feel it, I would take one out, and that way I could kind of half monitor, which is it was something to find out. Now, needless to say, I said that I was like, okay, well, I kind of like the guitar more, and so I moved a little bit away from more like the click tracks, and so I do want to add that into more of my live stuff as I'm doing it on the solo. I don't know how I do that, but that's like the producer side that I'm trying to figure out.
That's an interesting topic because, if you're really wanting to be tempo driven, in a live performance, I mean,
Get a drummer, right?
when you're with a band, you just kind of feel it, and if you speed up together, and if you slow down together, and you just kind of play based off of that moment in time, what is demanded. But then there are other instances, like with loop pedals. I got to see Phil Keggy play live, and he had this incredible foot pedal setup, and that you have to be perfect.
I have a loop pedal, and I'm so frustrated.
What you probably noticed playing with a loop pedal, as I've done, is that slight bit of delay, the digital delay. You're expecting to push down and get the next track instantly, but it's like hit and then just a millisecond.
And it never lines up.
I know. That's the thing. Phil had a very expensive one, expensive looper that minimized that, but it kept it consistent. So he knew exactly what the loop was going to be like and could plan for that accordingly. And he just lined up perfectly every time. And every single time I'm watching him do this, I'm like, huh? He didn't have to say sorry, folks, and delete a track or anything like that. It was just, it was the next layer. It was the next layer and the next layer. And that is something that is, it's almost like that invisible talent where you have to be immersed in this world to actually understand and appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And then outside of it, they're like, well, that song took a little bit longer because of all the layers. And you're like, you just don't understand what happened there.
You're like, it's the paintbrush. It's it's not the masterpiece. It's the paintbrush.
Exactly. Actually, one thing that I wanted to talk to you about is how we have now you and Michael Hess both being he a former firefighter and you a firefighter as well. I find that interesting. It was very cool that within the founding, within 6 months of the guild being formed, that we have two firefighters. Now you hadn't met each other previously, correct? Or you?
No, we had not met each other previously. Before our, we had a rehearsal on the Landa Park, stage. That's where we kind of did our rehearsal. That was the first time we had met.
Really? Wait a minute, Landa Park stage for which event?
No, that was just where we set our rehearsal. He was like, let's go to the Landa Park stage. We had like a bunch of kind of people that were out in the community just sitting in front of us. And we just played a couple songs. He was giving me some like Dan Fogelberg. He was playing songs and he was like, you should know this one. And I'm like, I have no clue what that song is. And he's like, it's Dan Fogelberg. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't mean anything. If it's not Cardi B or, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I love him. He's got what seems like a grouchy exterior, but he has a heart of gold.
Oh no, the heart of gold. That dude's, and he's got songs that are beautiful, and he's
so beautiful.
Great songs like about all the things that we've kind of experienced. And I will say that he kind of gave me that a little tinge of songwriting where I was like, okay, I can see what I can do with it if I'm able to expand on the ideas, like make it a little more, not alliteration, but probably metaphors would be the word for it, but metaphors and expanding it onto where it's not just the words saying exactly what happened, but it's the altogether tone of it and the vibe.
And sometimes you can just save that for a song.
Right.
Like you kind of have the pattern of how your songs roll out and how they form out, and then you can have that one song where you're like, this one is just going to be chucked with similes and metaphors,
right?
And it's going to be like Homer's Iliad.
A little Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band.
Exactly. It can be the most obtuse thing ever written. And then people are like, what inspired you to do this? It's like, I saw someone lose their shopping cart. And I was like, this is going to create a masterpiece. Like that.
You never know, man.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, a lot of things, like you said, the Iliad and the Homer. I have a lot. I guess let me circle back. Firefighting thing, right? So 6 months firefight, 2 guys in the firemen in the Hill Country Musicians Guild. Now I remember us first meeting, right? And at the Green's last call, we were kind of just talking about what the guild was, and you were kind of giving me the intro of it. And I said, hey man, like I'm part of the firefighters union. It kind of makes it's a direct correlation. You can get new people in and they have the security of like, okay, well, I have the guild that can kind of help me out. And I felt like we shared a lot of similar views, and we shared a lot of similar views on that whole idea. And one of my main things growing is as much as you can have a vision, you have to have a community with a vision.
Yeah.
And we shared the same kind of vision, I think.
And it's, I mean, yeah, talking about the guild, it's been interesting because the vision had to change a little bit because I can't remember his name, the guy from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Charlie Day.
Not Charlie. I was thinking about the episode where they made those beer bucks that they were distributing out to people,
Right.
and then they were getting them back, but they weren't actually generating any profit off of it.
Right.
And they're like, you know what? I don't know how finances work. And I mean, that's how I entered in, bright-eyed, like, this is going to work out this way, and then I realized, I don't know how finances work.
Right. You're like, we're going to solve the gas crisis, but we don't understand it. Like,
exactly. And
yeah.
so that was what really had to change in myself is like, okay, these are the goals that I still want to do, but maybe the means in which that I get there is going to have to change. I mean, because I want this to be a way that I generate a profit, how I make a living. Right now, I wouldn't be able to self-sustain off of it, but I have to live up to the other part of making sure that if a musician who wants to, get his work noticed, get shows, promote some of the things that he is doing, that is falling in line first, as best as I can do, and then expound upon that and make it better and better and better. So even since the beginning, since May, I'd say that we're probably on like, I don't know, 1.2 model, 1.4, maybe 2.0, and it's going to just have to keep on. It's going to have to keep on changing, just so that we serve and provide everything correctly for everyone.
Absolutely.
And I'm not what I would say a socialist, and I've been accused as one.
Oh man, no, I think that having community, having a source of people that you can go to and that you trust and that share a similar vision, I wouldn't say that that's in any way any kind of party or whatever, but I say that it's a great thing to have. Like if you find it in smaller communities, say the church community, say the firefighter community, even down to like one that's a little more obtuse, which is like the motorcycle community, right?
That's a pretty big one.
Yeah, it's a big one, but you throw the two fingers down because like they're motorcycle guys, and then right, exactly. So and with the Musicians Guild and the Firefighters Union and things like that, like it's something that's underlying, but sometimes it can't like. I'm part of the union, but the union's not my whole life. Like you know what I mean? Like I do events and I do work for them, but I'm also my own. Like I have my own entity, and now I think musicians have to do the same thing where they can't be so. There's a lot of music in the world, and as much as creatives want to be paid for everything that they make, and they want to be paid top dollar, and they could be. But I tell people a lot, like you can be Beethoven, but if people don't want to listen to Beethoven, nothing's gonna work.
Yeah.
So it's just
the nature, especially in today's day and age, is to find your audience.
Right. There's a lot of people in this world.
I know. Well, what I did was I had a good talk with a friend of mine who this whole topic came up, and he challenged me in a good way. He said, "Joe, what does your fan look like?" I'm like, "I don't know what you mean." And he was like, "Well, let's build your fan."
Okay.
And he's like, "What kind of music did you listen to in the 2020s?" And I was like, "I didn't listen. I hated all the artists that came out in the 2020s." 2010s. I'm like, I liked some bits of Coldplay, some bits of Linkin Park. And it's like, okay, 2000s. Well, definitely Linkin Park then, White Stripes, a little bit of Green Day.
Okay, so you're in the same alt-rock kind of community.
So there's a bit of that, but I mean, it definitely a different change when it hits 80s, 70s, and 60s, because I liked, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I like the Beatles. I like Steely Dan. I like America. I like Bread. I'm able to name more of these acts from the 70s and 60s than I can from the modern day ones. I really struggle with the modern day ones.
Right.
And then the friend went, okay, what is your fan's religious connotation? I'm like, geez, that's a bit personal. And I was like, he'd be either like Christian or agnostic. And I'm like, okay, what's his political leanings? Dude, and you're like, you don't have to talk about that. But I was like, centrist. And then from there, it's like, so we're slowly forming this guy with all of these questions. Like,
Right.
Is he a white collar? Is he a blue collar? Does he have a family? What's his complexion? And then when we finished all that, he went, where does this guy live?
Oh no.
He doesn't live here. He doesn't live within, 100 miles of where I live. And he was like, that's okay. Maybe at one point that wouldn't be okay. You'd have to like actually pack up your bags and travel across the country
Right.
to find this fan. But you don't have to do that as much anymore. Sure, they'll like to see you live.
Right.
But there are ways to market to a person that's in a different state or a different country.
Absolutely.
There's actually a story, I forgot who, but it was like this guy who was a failed artist here in the States, but his song became like this humongous hit in Africa. And like they all loved it, and they're like sending him fan mail, and he's like, who is this? And it's like, and he like, basically like, I couldn't find my fan here, and he was about to quit, and then everyone was like, we love you over here, we'd love to have you. And
So Wheatus is another one like that.
Really?
Yeah. So Teenage Dirtbag, right? Teenage Dirtbag started, and it was a huge. It wasn't a big hit here because they had just had some like the Columbine thing. So then at that point, all of the Teenage Dirtbag, because it had the musical lyrics that were related to this event that had happened, it got taken off the air. But because Wheatus had sent it over to like Australia, and that was the big thing where Australia was like, we love Teenage Dirtbag, so they did a whole Australian, community tour.
Yeah.
And so I guess you're right. You got to find the fan. Like Wheatus was like, man, we can't do it in America. Everyone's too like hoity-toity. But everyone, the surfer guys, the Teenage Dirtbags in Australia loved it. So I get what you're saying. Now that's something I'm gonna have to go and like sit there and think about who's my fan when I get home.
It's a good mental exercise, but I can probably assure you that your fandom is probably closer in proximity to you than mine is. Because mine are like in sanitariums somewhere.
I love Jim Crochet just as much as the next guy.
Oh, I like Jim Crochet as well. But when I come to my own writing, this is why I don't do very many collaborations, is because I am the first one to admit it's weird. It's really weird. I'm trying to write something that is different than what people hear around here, and it may not be the most aesthetically pleasing thing, but it's entertainment for me.
Right.
And I know that I might have to put it like somehow either get it in a CD or a disc drive or something, put it in a time capsule, and hopefully 10,000 years from now someone pulls it up and like, that's some good shit, bro. But I don't know. It may not be for the now. It may not be for the hill country, but it's something I still am compelled to do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, in the same sense, like the reason why I started my Instagram.
Mm.
So the Noah Gray archives, right? And it was because of this morbid sense of mortality. So I lost my dad at 5, and I didn't have anything. Like I barely had some VHS tapes, a couple pictures, things like that. And so I decided when I had my first daughter that I was like, I'm going to use whatever social media platform I have to create this archive of my life, so that if I pass away early due to my job or whatever, that they have these pictures that they can go and look back and be like, what did we do on certain days? They can look and see, like, we were feeding the goats at the snake farm, or all these different things where I don't remember that because I didn't have the pictures and frames of that, so I wanted to create that for my children.
That's very sweet.
Yeah, absolutely.
It is really sweet.
Yeah. And then it became songs. So like, I want to record a song for them, so that they have a song to play when I'm dead, right? And so they have a CD, and then that became multiple songs, and that became okay.
Do you have? I know the nature of your work is dangerous,
Right.
but I mean, I have every faith that you'll make it out.
Yeah. Well, we all don't, unfortunately.
Mm.
That's one of the quotes I like to use is, "Don't take it too seriously. Nobody makes it out alive."
Right.
So especially in the nature of my job, life is fleeting, man. You gotta work. I mean, you gotta work towards whatever goal you have, and even if you don't reach at the end of it, you having that process of reaching that goal could be something to somebody. So,
It's very true. Here, would you like to do another song?
Yeah.
back on these memories, my smile seems to fade. It seems that I found it while I'm feeling this way. And all of these pictures, his memories will stay. And all while his children are living is strange. But life didn't kill us, we pushed through the pain. 3 kids of my own now, almost living the same. But I thought I'd do better, like Mom always said. But God heard me that Christmas, scream I'm better off dead. So dear old Dad, won't you save my spot underneath St. Peter's gates? And you told me, son, won't you listen close? And what do you remember of me? Told him sleepless nights and those broken minds, and that crying I could hear through those walls. He said, son, it may be bad, but you must be strong. Yeah, this pain that I have given you must not be passed along. But I embrace that suffering, and Dad, you'd be proud. And I laid him down with darkness, and I turned it into sound. Now I'm making new memories, and I'm turning that page. And my smiles beam from children, they are so glad that I stayed. So dear old Dad, won't you save my spot underneath St. Peter's gates? And you told me, son, won't you listen close? Just rest your mind, you can't control fate. But Dad, you'd be proud when I laid them down to rest. Your parents, but somehow they were mine. And I paid back that pain, but I took on my own. And those memories, yeah, they never leave my mind. So dear old Dad, won't you save my spot underneath St. Peter's gates? And I found my place in this crazy world, saving souls, hoping one day it saves mine. But I see your face in the mirror each day, a face that died much younger than mine. So dear old Dad, please save my spot underneath St. Peter's gates.
Awesome. Beautiful song.
Thank you.
Very, very cool. Also, that another one where you could say it's technically in 3/4 because that one. But again, it's one of those things that I sit and I mull over. Remember when we used to mull?
Yeah, ruminate, as they say.
Ruminate, fixate, expatulate.
No, I will say, like, the BPM thing is something that I've been having to get into. Like, kind of like, okay, I feel 136 BPM. I'm having to put that on my metronome and like kind of feel it.
You may find as you start doing maybe more independent recording, where you're just like, I have the app, I'm just wanting something down. You know what I mean? But you still want to have a clip track
Right.
of some kind. You'll find a tempo that just lines up with you.
Right.
And you'll start to notice it. And you'll like go through your track and you're like, yeah, that's the same BPM, that's the same BPM, that's the same BPM.
He was like, it's different keys.
For me, like it's almost like it's almost like the beat of your heart. It's
Okay.
just, it's like this thing that is just there. And for me, I could almost always get it was 81 beats per minute.
Damn, you must be running a lot.
About that tempo right there. And I didn't notice it until I actually started doing my own recordings. And
I will say, I think it's waltz for me. Dun 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 dun.
With-
dun.
yeah.
Just as I'm feeling it.
exactly. And like I said, the tempo of your heart.
Yeah.
And it's
Do I
not
have a rhythm? Do I have a rhythmia?
Duh.
Let me say, like I said, you got a runner's heart if you're at 81. That's a slow. That's perfect. That's right where you want to be.
That's just the pulse that I guess was just the best thing that was inspiring creativity.
Yeah, I love it.
Because when I was first doing recordings on the iPad, when it said choose a tempo, it gave you the option to tap out the tempo. So
Right.
I'd just be like that, and I wouldn't think very much of it. And it's like, cool, I got my tempo. But then I started looking through my old tracks, and I was like, 81 BPM, 81 BPM, 81 BPM, 81. What's wrong with me? I mean, there were definitely exceptions.
Yeah.
But it just felt like
But
there
the
was
bell curve was right at 81.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I can't explain it. That was just my beat.
It's like the natural voice of beating, or
Mhm.
or beats per minute. Like, so as you're trying to find your natural voice,
Mm-hmm.
you know where you want to be. That's kind of like in what you're saying about the beats per minute. You got to find where you're the beat of your heart. The little,
Mhm.
I agree with that.
Actually, when you got into recording of yourself, what was your first reaction when you heard your voice?
Oh my God, oh, like that. I was playing some recordings the other day for somebody. Like, I was like, I want to let you know this is me from 16 months ago, and I would play it, and it's like
Every time you play it, it starts off with an apology. I'm so sorry.
I want you to hear I'm better than this now. You're like, whoop. No, it's great. Like, you really, it's a muscle. It's like it really, like, you have to be able to get that mind muscle connection of like being able to run through the horseshoe of the vocal range, that
Right.
A, E, I, O, U, or whatever.
And sometimes, why?
It's sometimes why, you know? And then I learned from somebody that like the Italian consonants are better than the English consonants for singing,
Oh, consonants.
or something of those. Well, I will say that is something I learned from the people that I watched, my inspirations, right?
Uh-huh.
The Ed Sheerans of the world, is that they say in vocals it's hard. In language you focus on vowels,
Right.
but in music you focus on consonants in some
Mhm.
way. So like, I'm trying to think of an example right now, but as I'm spacing, but yeah, you focus on the consonants, the
I
O.
agree. Yeah. Well, yeah. When it comes to like a lot of my songs, it's like I don't hear the lyrics that I necessarily want. I do hear the sound. Like, I want a ch sound here, or a k sound. In fact, there's been a couple of times where I've made up a word.
Mhm.
It makes absolutely no sense, but it was a word that I just wanted this many syllables, and I wanted it to start with this kind of sound. Like I came up with an adjective I called for a type of gray. I said Chaplin gray. Makes no sense. Absolutely not in the dictionary. Nothing. But I was like, that's the sound that I want. That's how many syllables I want, and I wanted it to be followed by the word gray, and it worked. But if people actually sat down and watched me during the writing process, they'd probably be like, you need to lie down or something like that.
You need to take some medicine today. Yeah.
Daniel needs his meds.
That's right. No, you do. I mean, you do find a lot of those things happen. I will say that some people have the songwriting of like they have the lyrics, right, and those lyrics are the lyrics, and they were going to make that fit to whatever progression they need.
Yes.
Versus the opposite, versus where a lot of people, like I'm going to give another example, the American Symphony, John Baptiste.
Yep.
The guy, he closes his eyes and he's kind of like that because he can feel it, and then at that point you can start you can start making the connection between this is that chord and this is where I need to be in my voice, and then so therefore you can start connecting those. And it's a very separate thing that people are like, okay, I'm vocal right now or I'm guitar right now, but it's all very meshed together. It's all very variated.
That's so cool. Well, I know that we're running pretty short on time. I know we've had a bit of back and forth. I was wondering if you had maybe one more song to close us out.
Close out? Yeah, absolutely.
So I sat with God's lost cowboys in a time so far away, and Cash's riders of all forgot. Yeah, they live on till this day. And those riders have gone sickly, and those horses in decay. And it seems that when there's no riders left, yeah, the devil has his day. And those things that churches won't tell you, now those secrets that they kept. And that when there are no riders, yeah, the devil makes his best. It was screens and simple chemicals, and that bait and hook was set. It was whiskey and a pretty face that leaves all these souls in debt. So I hope to be a cowboy and my riders on those trails, 'cause it seems that there's no cowboys left and that devil will prevail. So I hope to be a cowboy. No, I hope to have those words that are seen up on stages and sung from all those girls. So I always read my good book, but I listen to those words, 'cause when this crazy modern world, that devil wants you first. You may have seen it happen. No, it wasn't a big change. And when we lost those riders, yeah, those wolves were on those plains. So always read your good book and just listen to those words, because in this crazy modern world, yeah, devil wants you first. Instead, listen to these 6 strings and these words and what they mean, 'cause you won't know God's true purpose till He washes your soul clean. So always read that good book and just listen to those words, because in this crazy modern world, let that devil get you first. Get on that one. So always read your good book and just listen to those words, because in this crazy modern world, it's God that you deserve.
Awesome. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, like I said, we're wrapping up, but if you want to let the folks at home know things that are coming up for you that you're excited about doing, here you go.
Absolutely. So, one, Hill Country Musicians Guild podcast, gotta put that one out there. I'll be at the 13 Trees on the 23rd for the the market. Me and Hunter Fontaine, as we call the country boys. We're gonna come up with a duo name. We're gonna figure it out. A little lead guitar rhythm.
Yeah.
I'm going to be on the Righteous Jedi podcast, which is kind of a religious podcast. Everything's
Righteous Jedi. That's a cool name.
That's right. You should check it out. So, with this, my old English teacher, he actually is like a doctor of religious studies now, and so it's really cool thing that everyone should check out. But one, they need to check out here. They need to come to the 13 Trees. We're going to be at Texas 467 Tavern in Seguin today, and I'm always in the Hill Country. Joe's always in the Hill Country. We're always out there.
That is so cool. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you for sharing your songs, for sharing your heart and your story. It's been inspiring. And I hope to see you for the next one. So thank you folks at home. I hope you've enjoyed this. This has been Joe. That's been Noah. You guys take care and have a great rest of your day.
And now I just lie gently, 'cause these dreams I had of a family are these dreams